Yo, what is up, everyone? My name is Dom, and we're here to talk about unusual options activity. Alright, everyone, so disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. The statements made in this programming are solely the opinion of the show and are not a specific inducement to make an investment. One must perform their own due diligence and realize that all investments carry risk. There's no guarantee of profit. Alright, everyone. So today was a pretty high day here. We'll pull this little guy up. So the Dow traded down about 100 points. S&P traded down about 27 points, or 0.7%. And we kind of had a little bit of a comeback in the Nasdaq today. It was up about 162 points. Now, if you see here, I watched the VIX here, which is highlighted in this blue shade here. The VIX traded below like 19. It closed below 19 for the first time in like 13 months. And usually, you know, when we close around that 20 to 19 level in the VIX, you know, normally we get a pop the next day in the volatility index, which means the S&P will usually trade down in sync with that. But you know, we traded below some serious support in the VIX, so you know, I'm not really too sure what this means. It kind of has me a little on edge when the VIX is you know, this low, but you know, it could be a good sign, and you know, it could be actually a sign to, you know, do some buying, because the volatility in the market is coming down, and you know, the uncertainty is just, you know, kind of being released at this point, you know, with COVID kind of coming to an end hopefully soon. So first one I want to bring up is NUAN. Now, as you can see here, I've positioned these May 47 strike calls. Now, there's some huge buyers coming in, definitely some institutions coming in, and there's about 14,000 of these contracts traded. Open interest of only 85. Now, if you kind of look around here, you know, this thing rarely ever trades options here. You know, we'll just pull down all these real quick. You know, there's really not a whole lot of open interest, and remember, open interest is the number of contracts that are outstanding that people own. You know, there's always a buyer and then somebody who shorts the option to that buyer. So, you know, that just means that, you know, there's two parties that are in a contract together. That's what open interest is. So, you know, this thing really does not trade a whole lot of options whatsoever. And then you come to these May 47 strike calls, and there's about 14,000 traded. Now, there's some sweep orders down in the time of sale, so I'll leave that to you guys to go check out for these May 47 strike calls. But I am in these calls, and we'll see what happens. Now, I've traded this one before. I think I traded this one around an earnings report here, and you know, the stock has done well. You know, they reported good quarters. You know, definitely some solid fundamentals from what I remember. You know, this stock traded up to about 52, just shy of 52 bucks here, traded down to $40. I wish they were coming in and buying when the stock was 40, but you know, they're coming in when it's about 44, you know, about $5 to $6 off of its high. You know, I do not like buying things at all-time highs. You know, a few months ago, you know, like I always say, you know, a few months ago, 4 or 5, you know, months ago, when everything was going up and, you know, interest rates were really low and the only game in town was stocks, I'd say the only game in town is still stocks, but interest rates are going up. You know, I like somebody who's buying the dip here. You know, we got about, you know, 6-7 points to make it to new highs on this one. You know, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this one. You know, it's kind of a shorter dated call option here. You know, we're losing about $3 right here, theta, just to time decay every single day. So, you know, because we didn't do a vertical spread here to mitigate our time decay or anything here, you know, we kind of just took a little bit of a cheap flyer on this one. And I like the orders. I've traded the stock before. I like the company. So I just went for the straight call here. So yeah, we checked out the chart. Next one I want to bring up is XLF. Now, this is the Sector Spider Bank ETF. I think it's just a collection of banks that are in the S&P 500. So yeah, as you can see here, I have a position in these January 2022 34 strike calls. There's about 21,000 of these contracts that traded. Now, this one has hit many times. People are coming in. They're going out further with this bank S&P Bank ETF here. I've seen them buying calls, you know, further out in July, August. I think this one has August options. You know, November, September. I've seen. You know, but they're coming in. They're buying these January 2022 calls. Now, if we go down to the time of sales and check this out here. You know, it looks like this person is exiting a position here for these April 34 strike calls. And if you go to these April 34 strike calls, you know, the open interest is 35,000. You know, once again, we won't know if they were selling to open or selling to close until the next day tomorrow. You know, but, you know, because there's 20,000 contracts that they traded and the open interest is 35,000, you know, we don't know, you know, because they could sell to close 20,000 contracts because the open interest is, you know, 35,000. You know, once again, if that subject is a little confusing, you know, with that buy to open, sell to open, you know, and how that relates to open interest and kind of how you know if it's opening or closing, you know, just leave a comment down below in the comment box, and, you know, I can definitely elaborate on that one. But, you know, what caught my eye here is there was two people, you know, these are about these are about 8 minutes apart. Someone came in about 7:27. Another person came in at 7:36 a.m. You know, this could be the same person coming in here. I don't think these two trades, these two 10,000 trades here are linked with this trade that happened at 11:30. But, you know, if it was, it looks like these people, you know, are selling to close these April 34 strike calls. And, you know, they're rolling up and they're buying these January 2022 34 strike calls. I don't think that is the case, because if that was the case, you know, this 20,000 sell order would have happened, you know, in my opinion, closer in sync to these ones that happened right in the morning. But, you know, these are two huge block trades. You know, people are coming in. It looks like this person is selling some puts. So, you know, that's also bullish as well. You know, they could be shorting them or just, you know, selling to close, which either way, that's bullish. Yeah, so, you know, these are some huge orders right here. I think that's like you know, two separate $3 million orders here. You know, people are going out further with this one. You know, I think I've talked about the XLF before. You know, this one has, you know, just eclipsed its 2008 high. You know, came up to about this 30 level in 2008, came down to $4. You know, tested that resistance, came back down for a few years, tested the resistance at pre-pandemic, and, you know, it finally has broken out. And, you know, in my opinion, banks are the ultimate reopen and value play, and it's also a hedge against rising rates, because most stocks will sell off when there is rising rates, and, you know, banks do good when there is rising rates, especially you know, especially with the steepening of the yield curve, which is just the difference between long-term and short-term bond yields. So, you know, steepening yield curve, it's kind of you know, a hedge against rising rates. You know, I like this one, and I'll be adding to it if it trades down in the near future here. So, thanks for everyone who's been subscribing. I really appreciate it. Make sure to keep the subscribing up. Make sure to leave a comment down below if you got any questions about that shorting options, and, you know, buying to open, selling to open, and, you know, how that pertains to open interest, you know, how you can figure that out. You know, I'm definitely willing to explain. It was a little confusing when I first learned it, but, you know, we got it down. So we'll see everyone in the next one.